You are now listening to the Musically Made podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Musically Made podcast featuring your host, VaNia Ellison. And today I have a special treat. Today I am here with Mr. Amani Roberts. Please, can you give us a little bit of an introduction, where you're from, and what your connection to music is?
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, VaNia. So thank you for inviting me. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, so a DMV native. Went to Howard University for undergrad. I grew up working for Marriott hotels all across the country. Once I was in college, though, I saw DJ Biz Markie performed, and that's when I said I want to work in the music industry as a DJ. So I've been a DJ for over 18 years, music business professor for 7 years, and a two-time author. My last book, The Quiet Storm, hit the USA Today bestseller list, and we've been out now for almost 10 months.
Wow. Okay, so I heard you mention Howard University. I spent 3 years in undergrad there myself, and I actually am currently based in Washington, D.C. So I love that you said that.
Mhm.
And my first question to you is, when did you get inspired to start writing books?
Initially, for my first book, I wanted to become more than just a DJ. I wanted to become a thought leader in my space. And so that's when I wrote my first book, which is called DJs Mean Business. It takes you through the time slots of a DJ set and relates it to growing a business or a career. And so that was like back in 2018. So I finished that book and released it in 2020. And then, unfortunately, right when the pandemic started. And then the second book, I was inspired because it was my thesis in grad school at Berklee College of Music in Boston. And I wanted to take the thesis and turn it into a book, which took me 4.5 years to do, but here we are.
Okay, what is the purpose of these books?
Well, the purpose of the book is to further share my thought leadership and expertise with the public.
Mm-hmm.
It also helps to open up more doors in terms of speaking opportunities, consulting projects. It's also a revenue generator, albeit small, but it can lead to other
Mm-hmm.
things. It adds to my credibility, and it just really, really is a great branding exercise. It's a difficult one, but it just really helps to further increase my thought leadership and expertise.
Okay, I can get with that. So, what kind of opportunities did these books open for you previously? Like, have you spoke anywhere, like you mentioned?
It definitely has opened up more speaking opportunities because when people see that you're an author, two-time author, they kind of pay
Mhm.
attention. It's allowed me to be on the news. During my book release, I was on TV 3 or 4 times at the local networks, on major radio, um, and then it helps me get noticed by other people in the music industry. When you apply
Mhm.
for jobs or apply to speak, you can use the book as part of your portfolio.
Mhm.
And now, it's going to allow me to create a trivia game from the book as well as a documentary. So
Ooh.
it's opening up more doors in the future too.
Okay, I like that. Circling back to DJing, do you still currently do that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I actually got a gig tomorrow. I got some
Oh.
corporate gigs I'm lining up for January. So I've got a couple lounge opportunities here in Vegas. The rest of December, I got some corporate opportunities in January. And then when I speak, I do bring the turntables to the stage with me to use the
Mhm.
music to help me tell my story. So it's always a part of me and it's
Okay.
always a part of my performance.
Okay. So I see that you have a keyboard behind you. Is that for fun, or does that help you with your DJing as well?
Well, the keyboard does help with the DJing in terms of counting, in terms of trying to improve your ear. So you're kind of trying to mix in key by ear. I'm a little bit out of practice 'cause I used to practice a lot, but I kind of fell
Okay.
off. I fell off because I don't take lessons anymore. So I know how to play. I can play my scales, my chords and everything. I'm just out of practice. So I would
Okay.
say, I'm like a average player. If I practice, I could be even better.
Okay. We're all looking for room to grow. Listen, my saxophone is right next to me
There
and I
you go.
still need to open it.
Yeah.
Is there any other instrument that you would have wanted to pick up but just didn't?
Probably the guitar. You see it back there, the guitar,
Oh,
but I don't
I
really
do.
that's one to learn. That's one on my list to learn. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's so funny. My guitar is also behind me on the other
Hmm.
side.
Yeah.
Um, Guitars are fun. I think they are a nice, it do hurt. It do hurt. But I do
Okay.
love the guitar.
All right.
Is there anything that you're excited about that you haven't shared yet? If you're allowed to share?
Just continuing to spread the word about the book to different audiences, hoping to finally be able to interview some of the artists that were in the book. That's kind of the goal for the upcoming year or two. The trivia game has me very excited. Just got to figure out how to fit that into the schedule for next year. And eventually trying to find someone notable to partner with me on the documentary because then I can help get it into bigger audiences and maybe have some of the streaming networks pay more attention. So those are some of the things
Okay.
that are have me excited, and let's just see where this book launch and book product continues to take me.
Okay. So just so that I'm clear, the trivia game is based on your books, or is it really okay, based on your
It's
books?
it's based on my second book, The Quiet Storm, which is on the
Okay.
history of R&B groups. That's what the trivia game will be based on.
Oh, got it, got it. So what inspired you to do R&B groups for your second book?
I grew up loving R&B groups, particularly like, slow jams and ballads from R&B groups, whether it be groups from the 80s, like New Edition, Cameo, Atlantic Star, 90s, SWV, Boys to Men, TLC, or even back in the day, the Isley Brothers, the
Mm-hmm.
Commodores. So I just grew up loving those groups. There really wasn't a book written about the history of them. And then when you look at it, there are not really any new groups that are taking the mantle from other groups that were big, like Jodeci, Mint Condition. So it's like, what happened? So I decided to do my research project on that, and that was why. It's kind of like my love letter to R&B.
Mm-hmm. I was telling one of my friends the other day that I feel like nobody wants to be in groups anymore. And it's bonkers to me because bouncing ideas off of another person and coming together and collaborating to make something bigger than yourself is something that is so inspiring to people. And I mean, hey, if you know you can't work with people, then I suppose that's okay. But I do hope that we can get more groups. Like I'm loving Flow right now. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
heard. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
loving Flow right now. There's this group called Table for Two. I
Mm.
like them as well. And I will forever be the internet fan. And I'm waiting for them to come back because they announced they're doing another album.
Hmm.
So I'm just hoping more people are cycling back into groups.
Yeah, yeah. K-pop groups do very well. So
Mm,
there's still
they
a
do.
formula. There's a formula out in the current era that works. So what can we as R&B groups do to
Hmm.
adopt the formula to be successful like them? It's possible. We just have to relearn how to kind of navigate the industry and social media and all that. So it's possible. I hope a group will kind of take heed to the lessons and move forward.
Yes, yes, I hope so as well. So you mentioned that you were a music business professor. So can I have like a synopsis of what your course is?
Yes, yes. I teach music business at Cal State University Fullerton. I also teach and coach people outside the university, and basically I cover most of what you need to be get off the ground and running as an independent artist, and how to set yourself up for success if you want to present yourself to a label, whether it be marketing, understanding copyright, touring. What else do we cover? We cover like I said, marketing, royalties, how to identify what royalties that you should be owed and keep track of your royalties that way. We also talk about like merchandise, properly handling and promoting your merchandise, a lot of the legal laws and everything that are involved. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of what we cover. Music supervision, which is the art of placing music underneath a piece of media property, whether it be a TV show, movie, commercial, video game, etc. Those are all the things we cover in both my course at the university and then what I coach people on outside of my students in the university.
Okay, sounds like a very informational and exciting class. You mentioned that you teach people how to either be independent or present themselves to a label. Which option do you resonate with the most?
Well, for me personally, it's independent because I'm always a fan of owning your own IP. So
Hmm.
that's what I really, really try to show people how they can activate different platforms to earn a livable income. I try to follow the 1,000 true fans mantra and philosophy, where if you can get 1,000 people to spend $100 a year on you, that will mean up to $100,000 in income, which is a pretty good way to live. So that's what I
Hmm.
teach. Now, there's certain clients that I work with, they want to eventually get signed to a label because they need the part of the machine. They need the promotion, they need the tour support, they need other assistance. So with them, I help get them ready, and then we pitch ourselves to labels. Now, sometimes you can sign, especially nowadays, maybe you just want the label to help you with distribution, or you want the label to help you with publishing, things like that. So it's a little bit I don't want to say easier, but the labels are more open to working with artists on an a la carte basis than ever before. So I just try to educate people. But my main kind of mantra is I want to help musicians make the better business decisions so they're not losing any money. So
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of my answer.
Thank you so much. What is your advice to any person that's looking to be in the music industry, whether they want to perform, whether they want to be an artist, whether they want to be behind the scenes? What's your advice to them?
Well, it's first to always remember that it's called the music business for a reason. It is a business. So if you treat it like a business, then it will reward you like a business. But if you treat it like a hobby, you're not going to get the rewards of it. So I always kind of advise people to understand that you are pretty much starting your own business. And, it just happens to be that the product you're selling is you, your music, your songs, your look, your brand. That's what you're selling. And so I always recommend this book right here. Um, Get it for you. Like All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald Passman. I think that's the textbook I use for my class and all my students. And this is the 11th edition, so get the most current edition. And I think they'll give you a good foundation. You can never stop learning as a music artist because things are changing. And nowadays, you really have to be prepared to promote yourself like never before because the scene is so crowded. There's so much noise that you have to stay authentic, but also continue to promote yourself and find your people.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to um, interview with me. Where can we find you?
So, people, if you're an artist or you think about becoming an artist, you can always reach me at amaniexperience.com/call. I set up a free call. So, I always do free consultations with artists or potential artists. And if you're there and maybe you want to get educated, learn more about what's the latest news in the music business industry, the music industry, you can always text the word news to 301-638-8749. That'll kind of get you text message updates from me. There's like a $5 charge per month, but it's well worth it because you get two texts a month and you can stay up to date with what's going on in the music business. So those are the two best ways to reach me. My name is Amani Experience on all the socials, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, and then LinkedIn is Amani Roberts.
Okay, thank you so much. And for everybody out there listening, thank you guys for tuning in. Please do me a favor and follow my podcast wherever you listen to it. Please follow me at Musically Made Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And also follow me on X at Musically Made P and Facebook at Musically Made Podcast. Alrighty. See you all next time.